All right. So back again. Here we are. Okay. So, right. So teachers, you were telling me how the teachers were in terms of being responsive to how things were different.
Yeah, so some of one of my teachers did A for all and just like did like I guess like A minus A plus like for people. So that was good and I was very grateful for my professor that did that because it took like a big like load off my shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Um and other professors it was I felt like for the most part, my professors were very like sympathetic at the fact that like everything was changing and that like we had to like scramble and go online. But one thing, like at first the transition was very hard and it was a lot of like trial and error and like seeing what worked and didn't work, especially like as far as like if we wanted it like synchronous or asynchronous and like workload or like how many times a week we were meeting because like at first like a lot of my professors wanted to meet like um basically wanted to have the class structured the same way as in the classroom but just doing it through video chat and then as the weeks went on they realized like that wouldn't work like you know because a lot of like especially in March and April a lot of people were getting sick, a lot of people had family members that were sick, so like people like asynchronous like just worked better for a lot of people and maybe like we'd have like a video chat option, you know.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Or also the fact that like a lot of people just don't have like great Wi-Fi connection and can't really like video chat and participate. Um, so I think for the most part, my professors were good. Some were like kind of like sticklers for like participating, uh, which was like annoying because like sometimes like I'd have good Wi-Fi, but then like depending on like where I'm at, sometimes like it was just terrible and they couldn't hear me. So like I can't really participate, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that was probably like the most annoying thing. And like um having to move from like just raising my hand in class during like for participation points and then moving that to like doing all these discussion boards uh was a lot of work. Like that was definitely like hard like to transfer over. I mean like I guess thankfully like we weren't like a lot of us like were not working or whatever, but like it was still very stressful and a lot of work.
Right, right, right. So, how much more time do you think you put in compared to um, like live class?
Oh my God, compared to normal like, hours,
Really?
definitely hours more. Like because and like instead of like people like one of my professors, she cut out the group project,
Okay.
um, and then she added more pages onto our final paper. So it yeah, exactly. So I'm just like, oh my God, like and like a few of my professors like took like some of I guess the more like funner activities that we would have had out and then just like added on to like writing assignments and stuff. And like some of them, some of my professors felt like, oh, okay, like you guys aren't working, the world is shut down, so I'm just gonna give you like a bunch of busy work to try to like keep you in schedule or whatever, which I don't find helpful at all, you know, because like busy work is like I'm not even learning anything. Like there's no helpful like discussion or anything. Like it's just literally to like sit there on the computer and keep you busy. So
Did the teacher phrase it that way, the way you just said?
he did not phrase it as busy work, but like you could definitely tell it was busy work, you know?
Did he say you guys aren't working? Or
No, they would no, they wouldn't say that, but like you could just tell they would say like that they would give us like they would always say like oh like we want to give you guys deadlines to keep like structure and like schedule in your life since a lot of like since other aspects outside of school might be like unstructured.
Pretty presumptuous, right?
Right. No, I know.
Uh, but as it turned out, it did, the pandemic did affect your job, right? So can you talk a little bit about how, like when we were in normal times, when you were living here, how the structure of your week was, speaking of structure in terms of the week, the weekend, like, cause you went upstate a lot, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I did. I would go upstate probably like every other weekend to come see my mom and check on her and just see how she's doing because I'm an only child. And she lives like up here by herself.
right.
Yeah, and then like during the week I would just like do schoolwork. I try to get my homework done like before the weekend came. So like I just wouldn't have to worry about it. And it was just, I don't know, I feel like a lot of before Corona hit, I feel like a lot of work that I was doing was like during my school schedule, or like I would do like a lot of my homework like when I'd have like gaps in my schedule.
Okay. Oh, like in between classes.
Exactly. So I don't know. I feel like when school got out, I like had more time to myself, um, just to like do either extracurricular activities because like me and Galea and Diana were um uh we were the e-board for Urban Sustainability Club and we were still planning the fair and stuff. So it was just like doing stuff like that
Hmm.
and hanging out with my friends and stuff.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Tell me what happened with the Urban Sustainability Fair. Like what you were hoping to accomplish, and then how the pandemic impacted that.
Yeah, so literally with the fair, we were gonna have like people table like how they had last year and different organizations and stuff come in and different uh people come with like internship information and stuff and we were literally like about to order like a whole bunch of like t-shirts and pens and just like in bags and like stuff to like give away to students for like Earth Week. We were also gonna have like different events for like all of April for like Earth Month or whatever, and like different speakers come in and we were gonna also have like a career panel too, like for like green collar jobs. But in like we were like emailing people and like calling people and stuff, but then like literally like as everything like was starting to fall together, like Corona hit and then like the whole fair got canceled and then they were talking about having like a virtual fair, but like everything just happened so quickly that it would have been like too hard, like
Right.
to like organize that. And then it's like we have to like organize it, like even if us as students could have like made it come together, like a lot of organizations like they're going through their own stuff, you know.
Right. Right.
It was like way too messy, so everything ended up basically just being canceled.
I'm sorry. It from the way you described the planning, um, that was an incredible opportunity, even just for the three of you who were doing the planning, to network and connect with people who might be job, you know, employer prospects, particularly for the three of you, and then for, everybody in the major. And that was kind of all lost. You did mention that you checked in on the urban sustainability graduation ceremony. Was that last week or this week? It's all just, running together.
Yeah.
And I remember all of the faculty who were there were just, really trying to get a message across that, what you're majoring is really critical, and what has happened recently is an indication of how critical what you're majoring in. I mean, because urban sustainability touches on, like the economics, and so we've seen like such economic devastation here, and the food issues, you know, all of a sudden grocery store workers are essential, you know, and all the argument, and then the sociological issues, you know, there's been so much said about these essential people, why aren't they being paid like essential people? You know, so it definitely is a major that you probably all feel like this is exactly the right thing to be studying, but on the other hand, you know, it's so hard to find a job, I guess, you know, that will, at this point, you know, but we're looking forward to, I mean, I try to imagine that something that's such an upheaval like this could actually result in things that we never even imagined being possibilities for people. You know what I'm saying? That, like,
Mhm.
I mean, look, when I was your age, there wasn't such a thing as an app designer, you know,
Right.
how old I am. You know, and I guess I'm just kind of getting at that sometimes this kind of a shake up can shake out some pretty interesting new ideas. Well, I guess that's a little of what's going on with the movement now. You know, I find it interesting. I want to get to that and your feelings about the protests and the horrible instance of police violence and just, you know, how blatantly clear it is that we live in a society with, you know, like two groups essentially, the rulers and the people who are pushed around. Um, a, a few months ago, or it was like early on in this, you went up and something happened. Was it in Newburgh, New York? Am I remembering right?
Yeah, it was in Newburgh, New York.
Now, is that close
Um,
to you are, or
yeah, that's like 30 minutes from me.
and I remember you and I was talking about it a little bit because I think there was, if you could remember the exact details of it, but I think we wound up talking about how, you know, when you kind of take people's livelihood away from them and just like, you know, it reaches a point where people kind of go out on the street and it's just that feeling of I don't have anything to lose anymore. You know, do you remember much about that? Because it's almost like a precursor.
No, yeah. Basically what happened was like I guess there was like a riot in Newburgh and like a fire or something like that because a police officer like shot and killed this black guy. But it was like a bit of a scandal because like one of the congressmen had said that like the guy was like unarmed and innocent, but then like later on like people found out that the guy was like armed and like it was basically like the congressman was like trying to paint like um more of a picture of police brutality to the public because he wanted the public to riot and
Hmm.
yeah, that's basically what happened.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So now we have a very different situation in terms of scale and I guess the backstory and also what happened. And I'm sure there's a lot that we're going to learn. I mean, just that whole fact that the officer who killed George Floyd had actually worked with him at one point. Um,
Right. I saw that.
um, so that adds another layer on all this. But people are really agitated. And I know that so when you were in the city, you were involved with protests. Ian just had a friend over today who said he just came down from Albany, and he said that there was, you know, he was involved in some daytime protests and they were peaceful. You know, I guess the kind of tough thing here is it doesn't seem to matter if people are peaceful, right?
Right.
You know, oh, darn, what the heck is going on with Zoom? I think my Zoom is doing it again. Well, I'm gonna go out and come back in.
Okay, no problem.
All right. Hi. Well, that was quick. Hey,
Okay, I see you.
this time was a little weird. Anyway, here we are again. Okay. Um, so right. So you were involved down here. Do you kind of miss being in the like urban part of things happening?
Do I miss it?
Yeah.
I do. You know, when I first came up here, I was just like, and also too, like the protests up here, you can definitely see that, like, I don't know. I feel like the protests in the city, at least the ones that I've been to, were like better organized.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, than the ones up here. But at the same time, a part of me feels like, you know, it's upstate New York, and I feel like there's like more racist people up here and like less people of color. So I feel like it's even more needed up here because like it's just like these enclaves of like middle class white people who aren't really exposed to people of color. Therefore, like I don't know, they need this the most. You know, they need to really like hear our voices the most.
Uh, guess what? I'm gonna go out and come in again. Sorry.
No worries, Beth.
All right.